Hey guys, what's going on? Adam from Adam Olson Fitness. I'm here with Amy Back.
Hi.
At Amy Back Fit. We are here today to go over a question that we had from a client in regards to diaphragmatic bracing. So in this particular set of circumstances, what happened with the client?
I was giving her a new lift, some Smith bar machine deadlifts over there.
Okay.
And I was trying, and she was kind of like all over the place with the breathing. So then I started telling her, talking to her about bracing, and then, you know, we're in the middle of our session and she's trying to do all the things all at once. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm gonna send you a video. And I'm like, I'm not gonna send you a video, I'm gonna make you a video. So
here we are. So so when we talk about diaphragmatic bracing, basically we're using our diaphragm filled with air in order to brace our midsection in order to create spinal stability and structural stability so that we can perform a lift. Naturally, your body is intuitively smart. I'm sure at some point in time you've tried to push something really heavy or move something and you find yourself bracing, but without really any real intent. You're probably pushing into something and making some type of grimace and being like that. So that's the idea in a very brief overview of what bracing is. It's the idea of supporting your entire structure with pressure from your internals, from breath, holding your breath in and putting pressure into something. That's usually why if you ever tried to push a car when it was in neutral up a hill, you're going to find that you're going to push and then you're going to find that you're fatiguing, you need to catch your breath and then do it again. So usually in your big lifts or in a lot of your lifting, especially your squat, bench, and deadlift, you're going to diaphragmatically brace. So if you watch any pro competitive powerlifters, you're going to usually see them take a big deep breath, usually through the mouth, and it usually has, some of them usually make some type of face or expression, and you'll see a lot of, and then they're pulling as much oxygen into the diaphragm as they can, and then usually they're using some form of belt. Some guys go beltless depending on what you're watching, and they're bracing their midsection full of air because they're trying to bring as much air into the deepest part of their lungs possible, and then they're pressing their midsection into the belt. The belt is now acting as a reinforcement around their midsection, and as you press into it, the pressure from the belt is pressing back into you. Not because it is, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're pushing into something that's wrapped around you tight, it is creating a counter pressure back into your body. And this helps create spinal stability through your entire section, your midsection. So when you're bracing in a movement, you usually want to brace by inhaling and exhaling at the top of the lift, or in the position when you're not moving through the lift. So in a squat, for example, you're going to brace at the top. You're going to take your deep breath in, brace, and you're going to hold that air, that brace, through the rep, all the way down, through your squat, come down and up, and then exhale.
And then breathe.
And then repeat. So every rep should have a brace. You can brace through several reps depending on how much weight is on the bar, and if you feel that you can do that without it making you feel like you want to pass out. But the more you do this, especially under heavier load, you will find that it can make you lightheaded. This is a very common byproduct of powerlifting when you brace and creating good wedges, or especially like if you do a deadlifter's wedge at the bottom of the bar. The deadlift is the opposite of the squat because everything is happening at the bottom when you're in a resting or getting ready position. So you're going to brace at the bottom, you're going to externally rotate your shoulders, deep breath.
At the bottom.
Brace, up, hips engage, and come back down and exhale again. So all the breathing is happening at the bottom. So when you're not in the movement or when you're engaged in the rep. Imagine having a very stable midsection, or like a hydraulic. A hydraulic is filling up with pressure as it's pushing through, and then all of a sudden the pressure releases when it's in the middle of lifting something. The thing's going to collapse. Just like if you fill a balloon with air, and then all of a sudden that balloon has something supporting, make a paper plate on top or something, and you let all the air out, the plate's just going to flop all over the place. So the same thing is true with your lifts. If you're creating all of this diaphragmatic pressure, and then all of a sudden you let your air out, you're now loosening the tension that's built up around your spine, and that's going to make your midsection loose. And you don't want to have like a jelly donut midsection when you're trying to stabilize 300, 400, 500 pounds on your back.
Yeah, you're gonna go over, you're gonna, the bar's gonna go over.
You're going to tip, or you're going to feel like your midsection gets weak and you can't drive through the rep anymore. So this is really like a practice thing. So if you're not used to it, I want you to imagine like maybe someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you have to brace for that punch. So, and you want to tighten that midsection, that's the idea. Or if you can push hard into a wall and you can try to unify your breathing with that. Before you go, take that deep breath in and then push as hard as you can. That's the concept of diaphragmatic bracing. If you have a trainer or you're working with one of us here and you need to or want to get into heavier lifting, we should maybe put a belt on you. You can try that out so you can start to feel what the pressure feels like pushing back into that belt, so you can feel that tension that builds up. That's probably the best explanation I can give you on what that should feel like, look like, and what you're actually doing internally. You're using your lungs to fill up with air to create support for your spinal column while you're moving through heavier rep ranges. And even doing your bench press, you should really, especially powerlifting benching, you should really be bracing all the way into the floor, creating a good arch in your spine, bracing your midsection and supporting that weight all the way through. And the breathing would happen up here at the top. Deep breath. And then again. And then you can keep repeating that cycle until you're done yourself. Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Maybe we'll make another video with some weight.
And yeah, we can do an example
squats,
video.
some deads.
And then we'll make this one as part 1, and then we'll do part 2.
Yep.
And we'll tag this video in the captions so you can go back, watch this explanation, and then see it actually done in live play. But I wanted to give like at least some verbal commentary so whoever's watching this can think about what you should actually be doing with the brace, and not just randomly taking in air at the wrong times of your rep and just thinking like, oh, I'm bracing, and not really understanding what you should be physically doing with your body.
And I think some of our clients too also don't really, are thinking that they're doing it, but not really doing it. It is definitely learned, and you definitely have to concentrate. You're focusing so much on these big lifts that there's so much going on. We're constantly cueing them the entire time. So the breathing and bracing feels, I think, to some of them just one more thing. They're just trying to just get the weight down and up, but it really does make it easier if you're breathing properly.
Yeah, and sometimes people have the habit of breathing at the wrong spot, and I see that just when you're doing basic like abdominal movements. Sometimes people breathe in when they should breathe out, and vice versa, and they kind of have it backwards. Just that's how they're wired. So you have to kind of entrain and ingrain the new way of bracing that's actually going to assist them instead of being counterproductive.
Right. Also, just one more thing, the belt is not there for any kind of lower back protection. So a lot of people think, oh, you're putting the belt on because,
inadvertently.
Right, but you don't want to walk around with the belt on just because that's what you're, like, it looks cool or whatever. You're using it to, when the weight starts to get more challenging and you have something to brace into. That's what you're using it for.
And that's what creates the support for your lower back.
Right.
So it's not like just by wearing the belt, it's going to, unless it's like a mental reminder for you to always be like, if you're picking up heavy weight off the ground, that you should be in good form. If that's like a mental reminder for you, then fine. But ultimately, just walking around with the powerlifting belt on in your midsection, any person that's really doing a lot of heavy lifting, you'll usually see them with a clasp belt, and they'll usually unbelt it after they're set because they don't want the constant pressure.
Right, it's uncomfortable.
On their midsection.
It's tight. It's meant to be tight.
Yeah. So if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach Amy at AmyBackFit or myself at Adam Olson Fitness on Instagram, Facebook, or you can comment on the YouTube video and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If there's any other questions or things that you'd like us to comment on, feel free to reach out to us via those channels as well.
Don't be shy.
Don't be
Let
shy.
us know.
We're going to do another video soon on biomechanical bracing, which is a little bit different than diaphragmatic bracing. There's kind of 2 types of ways you can say bracing in the fitness world. I'm sure there's more, but those are the 2 big ones, where you biomechanically brace your body into something for a reason, or when you diaphragmatically brace your internals against load through a movement. So that's the first one, is diaphragmatically bracing, which we just covered. Anything else?
No, we'll come back. No, we'll come back with a, we'll put some weight. Yeah, we'll put some weight on the bars, and we'll show you some demos.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
So hope you like this video. If you do, please like, share, subscribe. It helps with the YouTube algorithm to get the information out to other people that may find this useful to them, or you can just share it to your buddy and be like, hey, check this out. It's a good explanation if you like it. And if not, you don't have to do anything.
No.
But we appreciate it, and we will see you again here soon in a small while. And thanks for checking out the channel.
Yes, thank you.